I'm back. Is that guy again? Yep, it's the same one. Didn't he just put something up yesterday? Yep, I know. You can't keep him off of YouTube. Hello, welcome to the Treehouse. And it's Saturday story night. All right, so I was born and raised in the San Fernando Valley of Southern California. I was born in 1951. And that was the heart of everything, really. I mean, there were more teenagers in those, well, not 51, but later on, there were more teenagers in the San Fernando Valley, and that's why the Vietnam War hit Southern California the hardest of anywhere in the country, because we had a concentration of more teenagers than anywhere, the draft age anywhere. So anyway, it was a wonderful time and a place to be born. And if you've seen American Graffiti, that classic movie, that is when and where and how I grew up. In fact, that movie was filmed like 3 miles from my house. And remember, they would cruise. That was called Van Nuys Boulevard, and that was cruise nights. That was every weekend, and Wednesday night was car night, they call that. And it was just a perfect time and place and a style to grow up in. I was on the dating game twice. I was on the newlywed game. I was on the Family Feud. All of that happened in Southern California there. So anyway, I don't know, I probably said this before, and if you read the UTS handbook, we were lower middle class. So we lived in Encino, which was a very ritzy town, but we were on literally the border, the railroad tracks. So I wasn't really from Encino, just in name, and certainly not in consciousness, because I always felt less than and just, wanted money. I think this is what spurred me on to want to make money, all of this upbringing. So anyway, in Encino, a lot of celebrities, a lot of, John Wayne, Jimmy Stewart, Johnny Carson, Liberace, Dean Martin, goes on and on. And Jack Webb, if you remember Dragnet. I mean, everyone lived in Encino there. So we went to the Encino Presbyterian Church. My dad and mom were Presbyterian, big time. And I was raised in that. It was a very ritzy church in Encino. And for example, like after church on like one Sunday, the first time this ever happened, my dad, after church, they have coffee and donuts, and you mill around and like on a patio, big patio area, and social hour they called it. So anyway, my dad said, "Hey, Ken, come on." So we walked up. It was a long block up to Our Lady of Grace Catholic Church. And we stood there on the corner, and just about that time, their church was letting out. And hundreds of people were coming out of there. So we waited around. My dad was looking for something. Anyway, all of a sudden he goes, "Okay, see that man? See that man there?" And he points this man out to me, and I said, "Yeah, yeah." He says, "Who is that?" And I didn't know who it was. He says, "That's John Wayne." I said, "That's John Wayne? No way." It was a bald man. And he said, "Yeah, he doesn't wear his toupee when he doesn't want to be recognized." So he went without toupee to church. So it was just a great time and place, and my dad was fantastic. So anyway, in my Sunday school class was Sally Ride, who later, became America's first woman astronaut. Well, I had this was like I was 15 or 16. She was the same age as I. So it was the end of junior high school or starting high school. I had such a crush on her. Oh, she was cute. She was smart. She was athletic. I had a huge crush on Sally Ride. Well, lo and behold, we end up in the same Sunday school class together. And this was great. And her dad taught the class, Dr. Dale Ride. He was not an MD, he was a PhD, like a professor. He was very professorial. So I got that, like, Sally would never pay me the time of day. She wasn't rude or anything. She was, always friendly, but she didn't like me, and that really hurt my feelings. And so I tried and tried, and I just really couldn't get her attention. Couldn't get really the time of day from her. So I had this idea. I will be the best student in this Sunday school class. Then, when she and her family, she had a little sister too named Bear. I don't know why they called her Bear, but she had this little sister also. And I thought, I will be the best student in this Sunday school class. So when they're sitting around dinner one night, her dad will say, well, that Ken Roberts, that is a sharp young man. I am just really impressed with Ken Roberts. So that was my plan, and I always strove to be the best student in his class and answer the questions first and all that. But one time, I do remember this, he said, he was talking about a Bible story, and he said, what is a metaphor? Well, I had to hesitate. Well, Sally's hand goes up immediately. She was so smart. And she says, a metaphor, just like a dictionary, she said, a metaphor is a comparison without using like or as. All right? So if a man is a very fast runner, a metaphor is without using like or as. So you wouldn't say he runs as fast as a cheetah. You'd say he runs fast like a cheetah. So anyway, she knew it instantly. I will never forget the definition of metaphor because of that. Well, anyway, all those years, and there was always a pang in my heart for Sally Ride. And then of course she went on, and she went to Stanford and got all these physics degrees and astrophysics degree, all kinds of stuff. She was a brainiac. And of course, then she was America's first woman astronaut. And I think she went up twice, actually. So every once in a while, her name would pop up in the news. And, all right, so years go forward now. Now it's 2012. I'm 60 years old, living down here in Alabama. I'm driving along the highway, the 4-lane they call it, which is the main highway through this area. And I'm driving along, and on the radio I hear, and America's first woman astronaut, Sally Ride, passed away today. And I perk up, and then they say, and she is survived by her companion of 27 years, Kimberly.